Well, hello everyone. It's Thursday, January 22nd, and Nizam wrote this week, Thursday, January 22nd, we will continue with our series on the stages on the path to enlightenment. Thus far, we have discussed the need for joy, the buoy out at the sea, the stage of uniting mind with mentor, how we transform our intentions into actions, the contemplation on death and impermanence and the danger of a lower birth, how wildly lucky we are to be alive, where we can take refuge and the mechanics of karma, how to honor that luck and support ourselves towards alignment, the experience of samsara, our perceived reality of suffering, and lastly, nirvana and the aspiration to wholeness, the possibility of existence without suffering. Now that we understand our situation and the possible outcomes of our lives, continuing in samsara or attaining nirvana, we must look more deeply at how transformation truly happens. Join us this Thursday to explore the three fundamental ways we engage with reality that shape our experience. We are engaging in these ways all the time, often unconsciously. We must learn to be deliberate and conscious in our relationship to reality. We look forward to continuing along this path with you.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Okay. So as usual, we will do a little meditation, and after the meditation, then we will go into the talk. So I'm not going to make that statement about I'll leave time and I'll try to be on time because I've been saying it too much, and then so far I've not been able to honor that. So I don't want to develop more guilt than I already have. Okay. All right. So let's get ready to meditate. Hold the intention to meditate. And while you're holding the intention, that is your only mental activity, and you're resting, you are waiting, you are open to the body's own interpretation of what is it to be in meditation, waiting for the other dimensions of you, the energetic, the emotional, the cognitive, allowing them space and being open to their interpretation. What is it to be in meditation for the body, energetically, emotionally, and just be in the center of all that. Be open to their suggestions. And when you suddenly feel the need to make an adjustment, whether it's internal, whether it's physical, whether it's energetic, take that to mean that you are receiving communication from those different parts and they're giving you advice. They know what meditation is. They know how they should be to optimize being able to get into meditation, and just mindfully make the adjustment. And as you're making the adjustment, notice how the adjustments are actually aiding the process, being able to get into meditation. And eventually you arrive at a point where there's a sense of the body is ready, the mind is ready. And when you feel that, you check the posture, a way of beginning to train attention to unify, to collect. You're directed without force towards the body. And you make it sequential, either starting from the top of your head to your toes or starting from your toes to the top of your head. You're just observing, witnessing what is there. A body that feels ready. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is its state like? If you're starting from your feet, notice the feet, notice the sensations that are there, being open to whether or not you need to make further adjustments. And when you've done with your entire legs, Do you feel a sense of stability? Is there a sense of comfort? And does it give you a sense of readiness? And once you feel confident about the posture of the legs, their readiness for meditation, then you move to the torso, making sure the torso gives you a sense of alertness. So the spine is straight but not uptight. Then move your attention to the shoulders, the arms, all the way to the tip of the fingers. Listen to that instinct in the body, that intelligence. Do you need to have your hands touching each other in some sort of what is called meditation mudra? Do you need your hands facing down, facing up, touching your knees? And once you feel confident in the torso and the arms and the shoulders, then bring attention to the head and neck. And as you bring attention to the head and neck, what you're looking for is a sense of being centered. So you may have to pull your head in a little bit, or maybe move it down a little bit away so that the centeredness of the head and neck is such that you're not consciously holding the head and neck in place. It is so centered, it's holding itself. And once you feel confident about the centeredness of the head and neck, then continue to unify attention towards smaller and smaller objects. Now the mouth, teeth, tongue, notice, are they resting in their natural places? And by the time you reach the mouth, there should have been a sense of calm that is slowly arising and enhancing physically in the body, that begins to leak into the energetic body, that is beginning to leak into the mental body. And once you are confident with the mouth, teeth, tongue, then bring attention to the muscles of the face, making sure that they're relaxed. And gently come rest your attention in your eyes and choose whatever works best for you, whatever enhances the experience. If you're feeling too drowsy, then have the eyes open to a certain degree, whatever helps you. If you're feeling too excited, then you need to close the eyes to a certain degree, from completely closed to completely open. Choose whichever helps you best to go as deeply as possible into meditation. And once you've scanned the body, you have this sort of general sense of confidence, of readiness. Then gently bring attention to the breath. All you're doing is observing what is taking place. As you breathe in, you know you are breathing in. As you breathe out, you simply know you're breathing out. You're not trying to control the inhalation. You're not trying to control the exhalation. You're not trying to hold on to any specific experience, and you're not trying to push away any specific experience. Just feel a tension in the center, and then experiences are happening peripherally, and the closest to attention is the breath. And eventually you begin to notice a slight shift in the behavior of the breath because of the enhancement that is taking place in the calm, in the pleasantness, in the body, in the breath, in the mind. That slight shift in the behavior, whether inhale and exhale are becoming more and more the same and a bit longer than before. Take that as an indication that there is a kind of alignment is either taking place or has taken place within the different dimensions of you, the physical, the energetic, the conceptual, the belief systems, the emotional. All these different dimensions are in more alignment than before. And you feel a certain kind of peace, not overwhelming peace, but a certain taste of it. Take that as an indication to fully commit to the meditation session. So review your intention, review your motivation. While the motivation and intention are intensifying, the very intensification of or the very clarifying of the intention and the motivation is causing an opposite effect with the dimensions. That is, as the intention becomes clearer, more intense, you're more relaxed in the body, more relaxed energetically, more relaxed in the mind. And the very palpable calm, the very palpable pleasantness are enhancing due to the intensity of the motivation. And as you feel that, and you feel ready to make some sort of commitment, a physical commitment, we will use the breath. So staying connected to the experience, overall experience. Perhaps there's one that is stronger than the other. The calm may be stronger for you, or perhaps the sense of uh, pleasantness may be stronger for you, or whatever it is. Maybe now there's already an inner sensation pointing to the clarity or pointing to the vividness of perception. Whatever it is, stay with it and gently, fully take a nice deep breath through the nose, breathe in, and hold the breath. As you hold the breath, intensify the intention and clarify your motivation and keep relaxing, keep relaxing. And release. And as you're releasing it, feel yourself as if melting into reality, completely letting go. Whatever is appearing, whatever is present, you're letting it go. You're not grasping. If they stay, they stay. If they go, they go. But you're not grasping onto anything. Just let go, let go, let go, let go. And at the end of the exhalation, just stay where you've reached through that exhalation. Notice the new enhanced calm in the body, in the breath, and the mind. Notice the new enhanced pleasantness in the body, the breath, and the mind. And rejoice. Welcome it. And now staying in this new platform of stronger clarity, a more vibrant luminosity, a more pleasant experience, or a stronger sense of peace or calm. Staying there as the new platform. Again, breathe in. Staying, staying, staying. Hold, relax, intensify the intention, clarify the motivation, relax, relax. And again, release. Like a balloon letting go of air, you're just letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Notice the arising, the enhancement of the calm, the pleasantness, the clarity, the radiance. Notice how attention is becoming more and more collected, more and more collected. And at the end of the exhalation, stay in that new place. Stronger calm, stronger pleasantness, greater clarity, brighter luminosity, brighter vividness, and more collected attention. As if your mind, once it stays somewhere, it doesn't have any wish to move to anywhere else. That's the collected attention. Notice the new. Make a wish to stay there and to go even deeper as we take the third full breath. Gently again, fully staying there. Breathe in, hold, relaxing, letting go, relaxing. And again, completely let go. And at the end of that, again, notice the calm is calmer, the pleasant is more pleasant. The inner sensations are stronger, they're more present, they're more vivid. That means the mind is clearer, the mind is brighter, and attention is more collected. Noticing that, rejoice. Let us honor that part within us that is not quite satisfied. Let us not gaslight it. I finally found out what that means. Let us honor it, that its concern is legitimate, and have a wish to address it, a sincere concern on your part to address the sense of dissatisfaction, underlying dissatisfaction. And also honor that part of you, that capacity to be able to recognize what that state of being satisfied should be like. Not the intellectual imaginations, but that deep sense of being able to recognize it once you're there. Appeal to it. You're appealing to the very fabric of reality itself, to present itself as it actually is. And it takes on many forms, many appearances. And we have witnessed in our own lives appearances that we've made contact with that inspire us, that gives us a sense of there's something meaningful. So let the fabric of reality take on a form for us, because we can't directly right now see the magnificence of the fabric of reality. So let it take a form that can be a pointer, like the fabric of reality itself appearing in such a way to help us recognize it. Be open to it. Let it appear to us. Whether it's the form of a famous yogi, teacher, famous writer, or it could be a mythical being. Thinking about them, having a sense of being in the presence, for us seems to be pointing to something meaningful. So be open to what is being pointed to. Plead with your mind. Feel the deep respect you have for that appearance, for the role that it's playing for you to find meaning, to find true safety, to find true contentment. and allow yourself to express the natural reverence you have, the natural trust that you have, and reviewing your life, knowing that moments of safety that you felt that were deep, moments of clarity that you felt that were deep, moments of meaning that you felt that were deep, they came from that relationship. So express gratitude. And get ready. Feel your mind open, your heart open to have that encounter that will help honor the concern for that part that feels this underlying dissatisfaction, that presence, that form now dissolves into pure light, and you're able to witness the pure light. You haven't lost connection with it, even though the form is no longer there, but a different form is there, and it's still making you may have contact. It comes to the crown of your head, you're following it, and you feel an actual presence at the crown of your head. You feel some physiological sensation there. You open your heart, you open your mind, you feel ready to address the concern of that part of you that feels not quite connected to what is meaningful, not what connected to what is truly satisfactory. And as you're about to address the concern, and that light now descends to the crown of your head. Watch it, feel it illuminating your brain, illuminating the different dimensions of you until it finally reaches the heart. And just feel open, ready. And it's going to point by becoming more subtle, more subtle. The light is appearing to dissolve into space. Stay with it. It is now space. Stay with it. Notice the awareness of the space. It is now awareness. Stay with it. Let awareness now continue. Okay, feeling ready. Your mind is ready. That part, that intelligence that can understand is ready. And dedicate this to helping you understand. And you're going to listen, not just for yourself, for at least everyone you care about. So with that, let the mind go into just the space of the meditation. Notice the degree of calm, the pleasantness, And if there are inner sensations, notice their vividness, their clarity, their distinctiveness, their presentness. Notice the degree to which attention is collected. Rejoice, welcome it. And now get ready to come out. Go to the breath and gently, fully breathe in. Nice deep breath. Hold for a second. And as you release, feel yourself reconnecting with your immediate surroundings, being aware of the temperature in the room, the feel of your clothing, your seat, the different sounds in the room, and deliberately notice colors, notice shapes, lights, shadows. Okay. All right. So we begin tonight's topic. So we are looking, I mean, it's called the stages of the path to enlightenment. Not to be understood in a sense of, okay, you have enlightenment one, you have enlightenment two, you have enlightenment three until you get to the last stage of enlightenment. But rather, these are the uh, progressive transformations that we go through, or these are the different contemplations that we engage our minds in order to arrive at that stage called enlightenment. The word enlightenment is exactly just that. You have awakened to a truth that was always there. Now, the truth that you awaken to that was always there is not that, well, that's we're gonna come to that later, but it's not exactly what some people are saying. Okay. But the thing is, there is a truth that is already here. What is the truth? The truth of reality. What is the understanding? What is the nature of reality? And we come to we are awakened, we become aware directly of what that truth is, what that nature is. Okay? That is enlightenment. Now, what comes exactly after that? I prefer the Buddha's silence, which means you're not ready to know what comes after that. Worry about what's happening with you right now, rather than worry about what's on the other side of reality. Okay. So there's reality. And what is reality? It's a set of experiences, right? It's a set of experiences, perceptions, thoughts, ideas, um, um, encounters with what we call subjective, encounters with what we call objective. There seems to be an environment. It seems to be made up of different kinds of elements. By elements, I mean different kinds of appearances. Okay, and not necessarily earth, water, and so forth, but no different appearances, right? There are different appearances, different experiences, different ways that that they relate with us. That is the raw r- reality that we find ourselves in. And in this raw reality that we find ourselves in, we also encounter another appearance that is more subjective, a sense of lacking safety, a sense of lacking meaning, a sense of lacking satisfaction, a sense of lacking what you might call true contentment. And not only are we find ourselves lacking those things, we also find within this very same subjective experience that we encounter in reality a wish to encounter meaning, a wish to encounter satisfaction, a way to encounter true safety. Okay, so this is where we are. This is what the reality. This is the experience that is undeniable, that is present. Okay, we do not understand its nature. What is it about this that makes it this. Okay. Why do I seek meaning? Why do I seek safety? Why do I even have that? Okay. So that's the stage of reality that we find ourselves in. And within that stage, we notice degrees of, of, uh, of satisfaction or degrees of suffering. And because of the spectrum of suffering, spectrum of satisfaction that we witness not only in what seems to be others having going through that, we witness within our own stream of what you might call our subjective reality. We witnessed yesterday, I felt more satisfied than today, or the day before, I felt less satisfied than tomorrow. So we witness the spectrum. So this sort of gives us maybe it could be false hope, but the thing is, it gives us a sense of may there is at least we directly witness there is a spectrum, and perhaps uh, we find ourselves trying to manipulate our inner environment, trying to manipulate our outer environment, whether it is what we call the physical environment, or whether it is the relationship that we have with other uh, mind havers, mind possessors that we encounter in the world. Okay, and we the motivation that that moves us, what drives us to engage in particular ways, is to see to what degree can this engagement can affect the spectrum of being satisfied, or finding meaning, or finding safety. So, and this is already present. We do not have to invent something called relating. It is already there. We're already relating with ourselves, relating with other, relating with environment. Okay, that is already there. Also, we are noticing when we are relating, there is something happening with subjectively that is happening. We are, you could say, gathering or collecting. We are. Uh, uh, I can use it. We are data mining. Okay, we are data mining. This is good data. This is bad data. This data helps with this. This data explains this. This data explains that. We are data mining. So this is natural. This is our natural tendency towards wisdom. This is the very thing that will become what one day become wisdom. Okay. So this is already there. So we do not need an external whatever to put that in within in us. It is naturally taking place. You want to be a doctor, there's a particular behavior, there's a particular set of objects that you need to relate with, and you need to relate with them in a certain way. The textbooks, the classroom, your fellow students, the professor, the 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 commute, and all these things are presented to you, and you need to relate to them in such a way that you arrive at the place where you say, now I am a doctor, or now I'm a lawyer, now I'm a whatever. Okay, I'm an artist, and there are data. You're mining a certain set of data that will be useful for you, so that you become the artist, that you become the doctor, that you become the lawyer, the whatever. Okay, so these things are already present. These are the three fundamental modes of transforming reality. When these fundamental modes, when they are engaged in an unconscious way, and the unconscious way doesn't mean spontaneous in the enlightened way of saying spontaneous. It means we are driven by habits that we forgot, and those habits are driving us to relate a certain way. They're driving us to be concerned about certain kinds of data. They're driving us to collect our attention towards certain things. Okay. When this is how we are using these tools for transformation, yes, reality is transformed. But unfortunately, it transforms from one form of dissatisfaction to another sense of dissatisfaction. It transforms from one form of suffering to another sense of suffering. Remember what suffering is. Suffering is, and whenever you're having an experience, simultaneously with having that experience, there's an innate wish not to have this experience. Okay, that is a very what we call visceral, somatic way of defining what suffering is. Suffering is not some philosophical abstract that only certain people who study a certain branch of philosophy can give you a definition for. Okay, it is what you're going through right now within that gives that sense of that inks that sense of I'm not quite satisfied. Okay, I'm lacking in some way or another. That is the what is referred to as suffering. So when we relate, however we are relating, whether we are in a cave somewhere all by ourselves, whether we are in the midst of society, whether we are in nature on a mountain somewhere, the mode of how we are relating is transforming reality. Because that's the nature of reality. It is something that is it's relating itself. That's what reality is. Reality is relating. It is put it in a very fancy philosophical term, interdependence. That is what reality is. It is constant interrelating, constant relating. You cannot leave that and go to a non-relating kind of existence. Existence itself means relating, and it's constant, and everything is constantly relating with each other. Your body is relating with itself, your body is relating with the environment, your mind is relating with your body, body is relating with your mind is relating with other minds. Relating is constantly happening. That is not something you can put a stop to. Well, you can take a break. I'm not talking about being in a coma either. That's a different kind. All right, so relating is key. When you relate a certain way, it transforms the mind, it transforms how the reality is going. When you collect your attention when you unify your attention in a particular direction, in a particular way, it modifies, it transforms reality. This is happening whether you have agency or not. Okay. And there's always a set of data that is important for you. Okay. We are always collecting what we believe to be what needs to be known. Whether it's how to put up a video in TikTok. There's a body of knowledge that gives you how to do it. Right? How to make sure the teaching is recorded. There's a body of teaching that tells you how to do it. If you don't have the body of teaching, you will not record the teaching like I didn't last time. Okay. All right. So these are what are referred to as the three trainings. Now, when you hear the three trainings, and because of the context that I give it to you, it's not just some abstract thing. Oh, three trainings over there on Mars. It's cute to look at through your telescope. No, it's the life that you're living. The three trainings are constantly happening. If we direct the three trainings towards samsara, it gives you a beautiful samsara. But if you direct the three trainings toward nirvana, then it will give you nirvana. You can't get away from the three trainings. They either give you samsara if you allow uh, um, just past habit, just reactivity to direct them, to influence them. But if we decide to align them with the nature of reality, with 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 the very fabric of interbeing, then when we do that, then our behavior become a behavior that can lead to nirvana, that can lead to that place of safety that we are craving, that can lead to that an existence that feels meaningful, that can lead to an experience where there's no longer a sense of lacking. When behavior is like that, it's called the higher training of ethics, the higher training of morality, the higher training of basically, I prefer the word just behavior, okay, or relating. We relate, we relate in our minds, we relate with our speech, we relate with our physical body, with our bodies. We're always relating. We relate with self, we relate with other. We relate with non-sentient objects, and we relate with sentient objects. We are always relating. We can't get away from it. Okay. Um, you are no longer, I will no longer consider you to be children where I need to patronize you to say there's a Santa Claus so that you feel good. You are more mature now on the spiritual path, and you need to know hard truth. And the sooner you know the hard truth, the sooner you will be able to deal with reality. The sooner you'll be able to finally satisfy that angst, that hunger for meaning, for safety, for satisfaction, to fill that sense of voidness. What does it mean that the very reality itself is only interbeingness? Reality is only relationalness. So whatever you see, that's what it is. The only and it does, don't think of some sort of strange duality. There's a there's this reality and there's another reality. And by reality, I'm talking about existence itself. There is this existence and there is the another existence, or what word, or there's this cosmos and there's another cosmos. There's a there is this cosmos or reality of where the very reality itself is interbeingness, interdependenceness. And then there's some other kind of existence or reality that is not interdependenceness. Okay? That doesn't exist. If there is such a reality that is completely non-relational reality, non-interdependence, non-interbeing, we can never know it because our very nature is interbeingness. We cannot make contact with non-interbeingness. What are we? We are a stream of interbeingness. What are we? We are a stream of interbeingness. I'm going to say it one last time. What are we? We are a stream of interbeingness. That means we are real. That is, we take part of reality. The very, the very reality making whatever that's what we are. And relating is what happens. And in order, not in order, all experiences are due to configuring this relating. That's and we are constantly changing the different configurations of that. It is naturally taking place. We do not need to apply will, apply agency for this constant reconfiguration to just continue to reconfigure. It is the nature of reality itself. And one of the things that determines how the configuration reconfigures, or one of the influential elements that participates, is our behavior with other configurations. Think of reality in the way the Buddha described it as a net, Indra's net. All of reality is a net. And the way we see a net is that everything is connected in some way. And if there is a knot in a particular place, what is that knot? It is the fabric of what is called the net having being reconfigured in a certain way that we call knot. That's what the knot can only be. That's what the knot will ever be. And when you unravel the knot, the fabric remains, but the particular configuration of the strings is no longer configured that way, so there's no more knot, but the web is still there. Okay, so what gives rise to a sense of me is a configuration of different kinds of relatings. So when we relate a certain way, we notice the web moves or is reconfigured a certain way, is experienced a certain way. So the experience of the web of reality is immediately influenced by how the way we behave towards it, how we behave towards our mind will determine how our mind reality configures itself. How we behave towards our body will reconfigure how our body configures itself. How we relate with others will determine the kind of relationship that we establish in our we will configure the way we relate with each other. And this has an endless effect. Configures our mind, configures their mind, configures their reality, configures our reality. This is constantly taking place. This is what reality is. We cannot get away from it, but we can. But another another topic. Okay. So we need, just like if I want to be a doctor, I cannot go to the bar every night instead of studying. I have to change my behavior. I have to do something with how I relate with my life. I have to behave a certain way. I have to become someone who looks at uh, black lines on a page and diagrams. I have to be someone who's dedicated to do that. That's my behavior. And that behavior is transforming the body of knowledge I need that it will give me the outcome I want. And I have to now, instead of having my mind be concerned about being collecting itself towards uh, only what's the latest movie and who's playing them. Now my mind is kind of focusing on what materials I need to learn, which professor I need to bribe, which person I need to cheat on. So your mind has to collect itself in a particular way. Okay. But when that collecting of attention is directed towards really seeing the nature of reality directly, that is called the training of samadhi. Okay. The word samadhi itself means to unify the mind. Samadhi, some is uh, um, like uh, perfectly, okay, good. So to bring together in a wholesome way, okay. So one a very flimsy way of and very sort of like more direct way of understanding the training of meditation, which is samadhi, is uh, a unified attention. Attention that is unified, that is no longer scattered, that is no longer trying to do a million things at the same time, but is collected. The attention is collected. And attention is not only collected, it there is a sense of malleability. There's a sense of being able to apply agency towards it. Okay, stay here, move there, stay there, not constantly going like this. Okay. So that is samadhi. So another way of demonstrating that it's already taking place is that think of samadhi as that nice phrase, what are you uh, what are you what are you focused on? You know, that expression, what are you focusing? What is your focus? It's not that the person has what you might call 100% shamatha, that they are in bliss while they're focusing on that, but it's the understanding of what is it that you have collected your attention on. Okay. So we have that. So if the person who wants to be the doctor the person's attention is wrapped around those things that will help that person become the doctor, become the lawyer, become the artist. Okay, that's our natural samadhi. And when it is directed towards nirvana, true peace, true liberation, true satisfaction, true meaning, then it's called the higher training in samadhi. So the the Buddha specifically qualified these to tell us that I'm not introducing concentration to you. I'm not introducing behavior to you, something that you already do. But when you direct it towards this, now it's higher training. When you direct it towards that, now it's higher training in behavior or higher training in ethics. Remember, ethic is aligning our behavior to be in alignment with the true nature of reality. Understanding relational things are relational. Okay, we relate with each other. Okay, and behave in such a way that the way we relate doesn't cause suffering. What is suffering? Suffering is having reconfigured the fabric of reality in such a way that it forces you to have an experience while you're having it, you don't want to have it. And that is just a mere configuration of the fabric of reality. And the fabric of reality is free in the sense that it doesn't, in its nature, force you not to have certain experiences. Okay? It's part of the potential of the infinite potential of the fabric of reality. It's part of the infinite possible experiences. Okay? And this uh, suffering is we behave in such a way that gives suffering. We focus on something that gives us suffering. We amass data that gives rise to suffering, not because we are looking for suffering, but because we misunderstand the nature. Okay. So I'm not going to go into the list of of the behavior that makes it ethical, that makes it the shila, that makes it the higher training of ethics. You're not little kids anymore. Okay? I'm gonna give you a list. Don't do this, don't do that, don't say this, don't say that. Come on. You're not little kids anymore. Okay? You don't need a list of what to do, what not to do. Let your behavior be in alignment with the true nature of reality. Observe when you hold a certain state of thought, a certain state of emotion, does it disturb your peace? And the reason for um, the higher training in Shila is that there's something about it that naturally leads to shamatha, or that makes the training in shamatha. Now, shamatha is not samadhi. Samadhi is just meditation in general. Shamatha is a specific form of samadhi. Okay, it is a single pointed focus that you're simultaneously experiencing bliss, and your mind is extremely malleable and extremely powerful. That is shamatha. And then you're dwelling in this incredible peace. And why are you dwelling in incredible peace? Because your behavior, because it's in alignment with the true nature of reality, you no longer have junk in your configuration that makes you you. You don't have the junk of guilt. You don't have the junk of dysfunctional fear. You don't have the junk of anxiety. You don't have those kinds of things that are produced by behaving a certain way. Or should I say, behaving unskillfully, behaving against the nature of reality, acting towards reality as if reality is not relational, acting towards reality as if things exist non-relational. And because this is not the nature of reality, and because we are expecting it to behave the way it is not, we experience these things that disturb our natural peace. When you no longer, when you have a state of mind called non-guilt, it is not simply not having guilt. It is actually a positive state of mind. It's not just there isn't guilt there, but it's a positive state of mind called non-guilt. And this state of mind called non-guilt is from witnessing yourself. I haven't done anything that disturbed the nature of reality. I haven't done anything with the intention to harm reality, to harm anything that is in reality, to harm myself, to harm my mind, to harm my body, to harm my environment, to harm others that I encounter. I haven't intentionally done anything towards that. And this creates a natural peace in your mind. And this natural peace makes it easy for us to develop shamatha. It makes our capacity to collect the mind less of a, what's that? What's that animal that ferrets? No. Uh, you grab one and then you went to go grab another one and that one runs away and then you go you don't know. Well, you know what I'm talking about. So our mind is like that. We collect the mind, put it there, and then something else grab our attention, and then it goes away from there. So our mind is like that. And the reason that it's like that is because of behavior. We've been behaving unskillfully. So when you know in a conscious way, my behavior has no intention to harm, and you witness yourself speaking, thinking, acting in the world with that way, that gives you a certain peace. That peace is called non-guilt mind. And that peace makes it possible for samadhi to take, for you to be able to collect, because your mind is not constantly trying to, like let's say, being deceptive, for example, right? Your mind your mind has to do a lot of gymnastics when it's lying. It has to deliberately distort reality. And when it distorts reality, it has to distort reality in a certain way to prop up the distorted reality that it has created. So the mind is scattered, trying to hold a bunch of things at the same time, right? But when you have sincere honesty, so the mind is not trained to be scattered. The mind is trained to be stable. So it makes the training in samadhi much easier. Okay, that's the reason for uh, making sure you practice what is called proper ethics, or I prefer to say skillful behavior. And the main thing is do not harm. That is, intentionally do not harm. You may harm unintentionally, you may harm by accident, and let your compassion guide you as to what remedies you can apply at that time. You step on while you are doing something, you step on someone's toe, for example. You didn't intentionally meant to hurt them, but it happened. But to look at the toe and to aim for it and to step on it, that's something else. Okay. So it's not that's why I said the intention to harm, to act and behave in a way without intention to harm, that gives a certain peace to the mind. The mind by nature is peaceful. The way we behave disturbs the natural peace of the mind. And when the mind is now calm and peaceful, and the mind becomes an instrument to be able to directly know what is actually present, what is actually there, what is actually reality, what is this thing called reality? What is it? The mind is now best able to do so, because before then, the mind cannot make a distinction between what it creates and what is presented to it. And if something is presented to it, it doesn't know if what is being presented to it is if it's seeing it correctly, if it's seeing it with its own prejudice, if it's seeing it with its own misunderstanding. Just like the thing I mentioned earlier about a, mis- a misunderstanding about enlightenment. There's a truth that's constantly abiding, and we are awakened to that truth. And when we become awakened to that truth, uh, we become enlightened. So the mind may already have its pre pre predisposition prejudices about what that's supposed to mean and applies that meaning to it. Okay, this is the this now quickly when we say that I have to uh, mention this part. Okay, otherwise you can't say people might question whether or not you actually heard a teaching on three three trainings. Okay, so they're called the three higher trainings because they lead to a certain thing, but the three trainings are always happening. Okay, now when the aim, remember, depending on the aim will determine the behavior, will determine what you're focusing on, will determine what kind of body of knowledge that you acquire. Okay, the aim will determine that for you. So if the aim is to live better this life, have somehow behave a certain way, collect a certain body of knowledge or knowing, and have your mind focus towards a certain thing, towards a certain way, it will reconfigure you, transform you, where you witness yourself being reconfigured a certain way. Okay? If the aim is uh, and there are so many different. This is slightly a review of the 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 Nirvana class. If the trauma of suffering is so strong that what you psychologically feel motivated to have is a complete cessation of existence itself. You just don't want to exist anymore because existence itself is equal to pain. Existence itself is equal to suffering. And you want like, I want to rest from existence. I don't care if I if it's complete annihilation, if it's complete annihilation of this configuration, like the knot on the net of reality, if it's completely undone where there's no more knot whatsoever. Okay. And that kind of of a of a final outcome depends on behaving a certain way. It depends on focusing the mind a certain way. It depends on gathering a certain body of knowledge. The body of knowledge that you definitely need to have gradually coming to, but wisdom isn't only emptiness. Okay, I said it. I said the big word. It's not only emptiness. Okay, and I'm not going to define it right now. Okay, it's not, and never mind. Okay, so it's not only emptiness. Wisdom is also interdependence. Wisdom is also knowing the Four Noble Truth. Wisdom is also knowing how things are interrelating. Wisdom is also understanding that there's causality, all these kinds of things. Okay, so all that is in the basket of wisdom. Okay, but the ultimate wisdom, of course, is direct knowing of emptiness. Let's just call it the true nature of reality. So you will be concerned about of collecting this kind of body of knowledge, which is your training is in wisdom, because it will lead to eventually fulfilling your wish, having an experience where it seems like you erase your existence. That is called solitary nirvana. Okay. Where in that state you have sort of merged with something it's kind of it's best explained by Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche. Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche say nirvana is that is beyond capacity to explain. That's the best way to explain nirvana. But if you are pressuring me, you're pinching me, I have to give something else other than that, I would say nirvana is the unconditioned element. Don't ask me to explain that, okay? It is the unconditioned element of reality. Think of reality as unconditioned element and conditioned element. And they're like this, okay? Um, And another way just another way of explaining nirvana is remember that safety that you were craving to have, that sense of satisfaction you're craving to have. It is abiding in that where you are that itself. You are safety. You are, so there's no need for wanting safety. You are meaning. There's no need for wanting meaning. You are bliss. There's no need for wanting satisfaction. Okay. And that's all you are. You're not Musonda in in Nirvana. You are Nirvana. Okay. But there's a trace of Musonda there that Musonda will not know because a little bit of wisdom. It is indeed this knot that became untangled, not that knot that became untangled. You understand? This knot became untangled over here, and this knot became untangled over there. There are different knots that became untangled, that became no knots. So if I refer to, or the knot that was on the left, that's different than the knot that was on the right. Okay? So there is still relational thing happening. Remember, the web of reality is relational, right? Okay. But As far as Musanda is concerned, there's no more Musanda. There's just bliss. There's just uh, unconditioned. There's inconceivable. You can't talk about itness. And this kind of there's a behavior, a way of relating with yourself, a way of relating with the world, a way of exercising non-harming, a way of focusing, training the mind, a way of unifying attention, a way and mixing all these with the understanding, with a direct experience of the true nature of reality that gives rise to this poof, poof experience from existence, solitary nirvana. Okay. This is the what is referred to as the in Mahayana. This is not something you find outside of Mahayana. In Mahayana, it's called the Hinayana path. Now, there is a way of behaving. There's a body of knowledge. There's a different kinds of samadhi practices that when we engage in, when we mix what the other one was doing with bodhicitta, when we mix our behavior with bodhicitta, when we mix our samadhi practice with bodhicitta, when we mix our understanding of the true nature of reality with bodhicitta, it gives rise to a different kind of nirvana. And this is a nirvana that is still has agency, that it still has visible relating taking place. But it doesn't experience the web of relationality. It doesn't experience the web of interdependence. It's easier to say. It doesn't experience the web of interdependence the same way as those who are stuck to it, who don't know what it is. Okay? It knows something about, let's say, something that modern physics, what's that thing called? A particle here can communicate with a particle 20,000 trillion million light years away simultaneously. What's that thing called? Um, what's that thing called?
Quantum entanglement.
Yes. Yes. It knows the nature of what is quantum entanglement. It doesn't feel stuck here. It knows that here is just a relation, and being there is just another relation. It's just there's a configuration where it can appear here while it's there. It can appear here while it's there and there. Okay? And it can take different forms here and there. Okay? Because it understands the very fabric of reality itself. So there's a way of behaving. There's a body of knowledge. There's a way of focusing the mind that leads to that kind of nirvana, which is called complete enlightenment. Okay. And what was and there's this one also has, so the first one was avoid, 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 avoid. The behavior was mainly about avoiding, avoid, avoid, avoid. The second one, the the behavior is about avoid and engage, avoid and engage. That is, avoid harming and engage sentient beings in a way that is compassionate. Engage sentient beings, engage the environment, engage everything with love, with compassion as the main mode of engaging. Focus in such a way that compassion is the motivator for concentrating. That compassion is the vessel that holds it. Okay. And then eventually, the engage the true nature of reality with the mind imbued with bodhicitta, with open, free compassion. Now, the second one avoids not necessarily the same reason that the first one avoids. So they too, the two of them, see reality for their own purposes, uh, having certain, yes, there are certain configurations that are innately pure. There are certain configurations that are innately impure. And now here comes the third kind of practitioner. The third kind of practitioner was seeking the same aim as the second one, to be able to enter in kind of nirvana, but you're still able to relate with others. There's a continuation of the configuration of a person. Okay, but in a much more elaborate way than we, in our limited way that we have configured our the sense of beingness. Okay, so this is the tantrika. The tantrika behavior is to engage everything with uh, engage 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 the totality of reality skillfully. And when you're in a situation of not avoiding certain things that the other two are avoiding, of course, do not harm. Harm is the main thing. There's no one where it says, "Oh, you can harm, and then you can reach enlightenment." There's no path like that. Sorry, there's no path like that. You can't go to your place of work and say, "Oh, I'm in the path where I can start cursing you out now, so I can reach my enlightenment." Sorry, there's no enlightened path that way. But there are certain behaviors that uh, the first two were avoiding, mainly because of their dysfunctional relationship with those behaviors. Not that those behaviors themselves were inherently leading to create perpetuating samsara, but rather the way of relating with those behaviors is so enmeshed with dysfunctionality, it's best for them to stay away from those behaviors, because they don't know how to skillfully use those behaviors that will lead to enlightenment. Okay. And that's where you get strange things in the tantric realm, right? Strange because when you're comparing it to the other two, it seems strange. Wait a minute, we're supposed to avoid those things and you engage in them, and they're supposed to lead you enlightenment much faster. And at the same time, uh, the kind of meditation that the tantrika is seeking, so they all seek. So the first one seeks uh, uh, a samadhi that makes it possible for the mind, for perception to directly engage, directly meet the true nature of reality. And that becomes the ticket out. In addition to that, the second one needs bodhicitta with that concentration. Okay, you need to develop a concentration that can hold bodhicitta at the same time. The third one needs a concentration that can hold bodhicitta, but at the same time be able to access even a much more powerful, much more subtle consciousness. And the reason for it is that is what truly determines the outcome when the encounter with the wisdom, emptiness doesn't change. There isn't an emptiness for the Hinayanus, an emptiness for the Bodhisattva, and an emptiness for the Vajrayana. It's the same emptiness that they all encounter. But because of what kind of samadhi that they are encountering, it would give them a different nirvana. The samadhi that the Hinayanus, or the one who's just don't want existence anymore, just doesn't want wants to arrive at a place where even the term sentient being doesn't exist anymore. Okay. It needs a certain kind of focus with its intention. And when it engages that focus with emptiness, it gives it solitary nirvana. When the bodhisattva imbues that same level of concentration, that same samadhi with emptiness, the same emptiness, and that bodhisattva is able to now be in non-abiding nirvana. A nirvana, that means they continue to relate with others. When the Vajrayanas take all those practices and doesn't leave anything out of capacity of skillful behavior, and achieves an incredible subtle consciousness. So there's bodhicitta, there's samadhi, and there's a very subtle consciousness. So when that encounters emptiness, it makes the achievement of the non-abiding nirvana much faster. And the much faster isn't, I want to get there so I can finally retire kind of thing, but rather I want to start the job of relating with others from this enlightened place so I can help others reconfigure themselves so that they can either take their retirement from existence or become themselves capable of continuing the act of relating from an enlightened place. Okay. And I'm gonna steal a little bit more of your time. Sorry. You can stretch your legs. Ooh. I just when I said about you're not little kids anymore, and it's about I'm not gonna paint a fairy tale for you. The truth that is already here is not that you already have right now what a being who has reconfigured the relational field. Wow, that sounds good. A being who has reconfigured the relational field in such a way that that quantum entanglement becomes something that they actually do. As an example, it's not that that's what's already here. It's not that you're already sitting on an enlightenment throne. You have your Sambhogakaya over there, you have your Nimanakayas here and there, and you have the Dhammakaya here and there, and then and for some reason you lost the key. You don't know where you put your Nimanakaya, you don't know where you put your Sambhogakaya, and you're wandering your universe. I'm already enlightened. I already got a Sambhogakaya, but I forgot where I put it. Okay, that is not what's already here. What's already here is the very interrelating. And what does it mean for you? Because if you think, what is the real psychological, subconscious, real implication of if it's what's already here is I already have my Sambhogakaya, you already have your Sambhogakaya, we just lost. You already have your Nimanakaya. There's no urgency anymore. You already have a Sambhogakaya, so why should I feel urgent to help you find your Sambhogakaya? If I already have my Sambhogakaya, it's somewhere. So why should I have an urgency to reconfigure what I am now so that I experience myself having Sambhogakaya? And reconfiguring has to happen. You cannot avoid it. There are many ways of doing it. but you cannot avoid it. Sentient beings are sentient beings. Don't use the excuse of emptiness to not engage sentient beings. They're already enlightened. So I can take a day off in pretending to try to enlighten them. There's no urgency. So that's the one of the dangers of misunderstanding what's already here. Okay. When they say sentient beings are ultimately not real, it doesn't mean that there are no such thing as sentient beings. Reality having configured itself in such a way, that's what sentient beings have always been. And that's what they will always be. Configuration of the web of interdependence. And our experiences of how we experience reality is completely connected to our behavior towards them. There's no getting away from it. There's no, sorry, the nice feeling that you get that gives you a sense of, I don't need to work. That nice feeling you get, oh, they're already enlightened, they're pure, I'm just not seeing it. Uh, so it makes you feel that, well, I don't really have to do anything. Really, that's what's happening within you. Where if you hold on to that, if you really hold on to that, there's no urgency, so I don't really have to do anything. And when you engage, when you're relating with with a sentient being, a configuration, a stream of ever changing configuration, if you do not relate with it in a particular way, you will not have a particular outcome, but you will have an outcome nonetheless, because relating with them, whether that relating is ignoring them, whether relating is forcing something onto them, no matter what, when you, the very fact of seeing another is relating with them. And if we do not skillfully manage this relating, this behavior, then we will continue to just blindly find ourselves wandering in the wheel of samsara. Compassion, love are not sentiments to decorate reality. There are the skillful way, the only skillful ways of relating so that the experience of samsara can stop. So that we finally are able to honor that truth within us that tells us there's something wrong here. I need to address it. And I've stolen enough of your time. Thank you very much. All right, since way over time, and thank goodness it was recording. That means this will be available. So if you have questions, I've been looking at my emails lately. Sorry about that. I will answer your questions if you have questions if you have some questions that requires some time to answer. Okay. All right. All right. So let's do our closing meditation. Can't call you kids anymore. Okay. If you can, just remember when you were meditating, how it felt. Because of knowing how it felt, that very memory of it begins to give you an experience, a taste. As soon as you have that taste, honor it, just stay with it. Take a nice deep breath. And as you release, just let yourself sort of melt into that taste. Notice the degree of calm, pleasantness in the body, the breath, and the mind. Notice the degree of clarity and radiance already present. Welcome them. And understand the sense of I. It's not that the sense of I is wrong, but how we understand the sense of I is wrong. How when the left needs help, the right hand doesn't say the right hand will help the left hand, I will help myself. And that sense of I can expand beyond the body. You don't need to pretend someone else to be you in order for you to help them. But you're going to have that same instinct of the right hand helping the left, of me helping myself. So see us in a circle in your space and feel that instinct for each other. We are all this web of reality, different knots appearing in different places. And quantum entanglement. And this understanding is beginning to take a form in the center of our circle, a bright presence. And as we integrate and become more and more absorbed into this reality, the sense that center brightness expands, and as it expands, everything that it touches gives us that sense of urgency, that sense of readiness to be of service, to be of help, to be of aid, with that same instinct that the right hand has for the left. Our neighbors, our pets, the trees, the grass, the waters, the rivers, the ocean, the different, those that walk on the earth, those that walk under the earth, those that move through the waters, those that fly in the air, the mountains, the sky, everything. We feel the same instinct towards it. When you pluck one part of the web, all the other parts of the web feel it. The fact of our relation is our oneness. Not that there is one real person, but our relating is our oneness. So compassion is real for real sentient beings, not imagination, not dream characters playing with dream characters. And we feel this bulb of light having enveloped all of existence. If all you can sincerely wrap your mind around in terms of all is the planet, then the entire planet. And that instinct is going back and forth. We feel that instinct towards the ocean. We feel that instinct towards our neighbors. We feel that instinct towards everything. Now that the instinct is stable, we don't need an outer trigger. So the light begins to shrink again. And as it shrinks, it leaves a glow of itself, of everything that it touched. And it becomes again just as a center. And we have a strong conviction of what it truly means to be, what of our oneness means. It's not some sort of cosmic narcissism. True respect of our differences, true understanding of our sameness, and a readiness to act for each other the same way we would act for ourselves. And the light now no longer needs to be there as a trigger of that. It enters our hearts. And there's this strong conviction whenever I sincerely help myself, I help all of us. When I sincerely help all of us, I help myself. And whatever understanding you were able to gain from tonight that will help you towards your journey towards your nirvana, give thanks to that part of you that was able to witness and pick it up and give thanks. And getting ready to engage the world from your new understanding, from your new perspective, and slowly incorporate it in your life. It becomes your new instinct. Witness yourself in meditation. Notice the calm, the pleasantness, the clarity, the radiance. Rejoice. Dedicate the merit energy. In readiness to come out, take a nice deep breath. Release. And deliberately reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Feel the temperature, feel your clothing. Be aware of sounds. Deliberately be aware of colors, shapes, light, shadows. Okay. Thank you very much. Those of you who didn't have dinner, you're going to go have it now.
Thank you, Phuntsok.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.